Hello everyone, my name is Jake Montoya with LA County Library, and today I'm going to be walking you through how to draw my original cartoon character Bob. Along the way, I will share some helpful hints and tricks to help you become a better artist and empower you all to start drawing your own cartoon characters. All you need for today's lesson is a pencil, an eraser, and some paper. Blank paper, line paper, or even scratch paper will do. Additional materials that will help you in today's lesson are a black ink pen and coloring materials like colored pencils or crayons. For today's lesson, I will be demonstrating on my iPad to help everyone watching see the lines clearer, but you do not need an iPad to follow along, just your pencil and paper. Let's go ahead and get started. For step 1, we are going to be using our pencil to sketch Bob's outline. If we look at Bob's shape, we can see he is made up of some basic rounded oval shapes. We will start with his head and we want to make almost an egg shape for this part. Next in outlining Bob, we can draw his body, which is still oval shaped, but is thinner near his shoulders and gets wider at his belly. This helps give Bob a neck area for his head to connect to his body. After we draw Bob's body, we can move on to his arms, which are also thinner near his shoulders and wider near his hands. Keep in mind that we are drawing Bob turning a little, so we can only see one of his arms fully. After Bob's arms come his legs. Just like his arms, we can only see his front leg fully, and his back leg is a little hidden by his belly and his front leg. This is called foreshortening and helps us make sure our drawings look more realistic. Now that we have Bob's basic shape, we can add some details, like sketching his face and his horns. For his horns, let's remember what we did with his arms and his legs. We can only fully see his front horn, and his back horn is just a little bit hidden by his forehead. For his face, you will notice that the original Bob looks a little bit sad, so this time I want to give him a big swooping smile. As an artist, you have the freedom to change Bob's expression on your drawing as well. Since Bob is smiling now, you will notice a small change in his eye as well. By making the bottom of his eye raise up a little bit, it enhances the effect of Bob smiling and makes him look even more excited and animated. Now that we have our pencil sketch of Bob done, we can move on to the next step, which is going to be inking over our sketch. What this means is we are going to be tracing our sketch with our black ink pen. You heard me right, tracing. Tracing is not cheating and is a great way to practice our drawing and line control. If you do not have a black ink pen for the inking step, that's okay. You can use the same pencil you were drawing with and just apply a little more pressure to get a darker line. In this step, it is a good idea to move from the front of the drawing to the back of the drawing, meaning we should first trace over what is fully visible, like his front arm, his belly, and his front leg. Another pro tip is not to spend too much time drawing any one line. When inking or finishing a drawing, it is good practice to draw swift lines, which will help make them much cleaner and much more straight. If you try to be too careful and go really slow when tracing, it can have a reverse effect because your hand shakes naturally and your line can come out squiggly. As a pro tip, it is much easier to draw a line coming down, pulling it towards you, than it is to draw a line going up, pushing it away from you. Notice the quick, decisive strokes I am doing when inking. I can do this with confidence because I am following the lines of my sketch that I laid down earlier. Please note that as I continue to ink my drawing, I am being mindful to ink from the foreground to the background. For example, I am inking over his front horn and his head before I go back and ink over his back horn. This makes sure everything is layered properly, and it helps make it easier for us to connect the lines as we continue to draw. I am also continuing to draw my lines downward, pulling them towards me instead of drawing them upward, pushing them away from me. This pulling technique helps us make our lines as clean and smooth as possible. After we have inked over Bob's entire body, we can move on to the details. The little details like his tooth, his fingers, and his dark spots are all details you can choose to include or not include in your version of Bob. While little details like this aren't always necessary, they help bring characters like Bob to life. For our last inking step, we can ink in the pupil of Bob's eye. I place it near the top to emphasize his smile. Now that we have our final drawing completely inked over, we can begin to erase the undersketch and start to take out all the pencil from under the ink. This step helps our final drawing look much cleaner, much more finished, and makes it a lot easier for us to color in later. A pro tip for this step is to erase along the line of the ink, almost like you are tracing it one last time. Erasing the pencil by going across the ink line instead of going with the ink line can result in you smudging your final drawing. For our last step, we will be giving Bob some color. A pro tip for this step is to use your coloring materials at home to trace the inside of your drawing, giving yourself a border of color. By giving yourself that border, you help to ensure that you do not color outside the lines later on when you are filling in Bob. This technique can be very helpful in helping make sure you color within the lines of your drawing. You can also use this technique to color in both small and large spaces. When coloring in large spaces, I have found that it is easiest to work from the outside and color your way into the middle. Coloring your drawing from the outside into the center is another way of making sure that you do not color outside the lines of your drawing. If you happen to have a white color pencil or a white gel pen, you can add the last little detail sparkle to Bob's eye. Congratulations! You have successfully drawn my original cartoon character, Bob. I hope you are able to take what you learned in this workshop and use it to draw your own original cartoon characters as well. For our last and final step, every great artist needs to title and sign their work. Go ahead and sign your drawing so everybody knows just who drew that masterpiece. Make sure to save your work somewhere so that as you practice, later on you can go back and check how much you've progressed. I hope you have all enjoyed our How to Draw Bob video and our Draw Along tutorial video series. If you have, be sure to check out some of the digital resources that LA County Library has to offer, like these e-drawing tutorial books by Lee J. Ames on our online database OverDrive. You can access these ebooks and many more at lacountylibrary.overdrive.com. Thank you again, and please feel free to click the link in the description box for upcoming programs. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel for easy access to new videos. See you next time.